All right, Danitza, good evening. Thanks for joining the class. Also, we're starting a bit late today. I'm fixing elements related to the starting, all right, of the classes that I got before so that I can regulate this beginning for all the courses because in general, all right, I'm finishing with this 10 or 15 minutes after the class, but I'm going to move some elements before, so I'm going to be using just the time that I got with all of you to regulate, all right, the starting time that we got, because I know that sometimes also we are until late and working something. At that time is hard because we are tired and it's not going to be helpful, all right? So in order again to start before, that is the time that we have to start, I'm going to be regulating some classes, but I believe that by next week, everything is going to be all right, better organized to finish everything on time and to begin on time as well. I wanted you to know that. Okay, but we're starting now, Danitza. How are you? How do you feel today? Is everything okay?
I have missed just everything's right. Okay.
All right, good. We have things to do today, of course, but we're going to start by reading the examples that you were writing, Danitza. Let's read them and let me know, please, what is the punctuation mark or the element that you were working over there, and I'm going to give you some corrections. Okay, so let's read what you got and let me know what you were practicing there.
Okay. I was trying to iterate the ideas that you gave me the last class. So in the first paragraph, I was trying to use the dash, and also here the column. So Isabel is one of the most committed people I know. Last winter, one of the most frozen as I remember, she decided to participate as a volunteer with an ONG. It rained those days, but she was still determined to come out to take care of the rain monitors. As a result, she got sick, her nose was congested, she felt chills and aching muscles. And the last part is I was trying to use again a dash, but I think I just only use prepositions. Just because of the bad weather, they decided to suspend the activities and reschedule the dates to take care of the teams that were involved.
All right, thank you very much. Now, let me give you some feedback, all right? In the first one, I think we have something interesting, but the rule is going to be the following. If we are using the dash to replace a comma, we are not going to use a comma then with the dash, all right? Because that's going to be to replace the comma. So here we should use, right? Last winter, comma, one of the most frozen, right? As I remember could be, or if you're describing to me, it is better to say that I remember, all right? Because you are describing this with the clause and it's going to be better as a phrase, okay? So, yes, let's put it down below.
Mm.
Uh-huh. Are you going to do it? Okay, I'm going to do it. So, um, this has to be a clause, all right? So it is better to make it more natural to say over there that I remember, okay? Now, here, remember, it is better if it's directly connected to the other one and with double dash, which should be okay in that sense, all right? Because remember, we don't use only the end dash,
Mhm.
so that we remember the rule, we're always going to try to use the double dash or the end dash or the M dash, sorry, then it's okay. One of the most frozen, right, that I remember, and dash like that, okay? So we do that and we omit the comma because this is replacing the comma now, all right? Now, dash, she decided to participate as a volunteer, all right, with an ONG, all right? I know we have the equivalent to that one. I'm going to do some research, but I don't know if they are divided also in that way in terms of the communities and so on, right? I'm going to try to find out. Then it rained those days. But she was okay. So this is my main correction because that's the only one I was uh, I mean, trying to see how we can correct, but it is good that we were using it. But yes, with a comma over there, as a result, with this is in the introductory phrase, right? She got sick. Okay, good. And here you're giving extra elements at the end. All right. Now, all right. So remember, you have to decide things here, Danitza. Remember this is like the criteria that you should follow in order to see if this is going to be a good idea as a transitional, no, not transitional phrase, sorry, as an interrupter, or in this case, as a conclusion. Okay. And what's the thing that you should have in mind? In order for it to be a conclusion or a clarification or illustration or anything like that, it is usually going to be very brief, and it is usually going to be less impactful and shorter, commonly, all right, speaking, than the main statement that you got. All right. But if you have, as a result, she got sick, right? Then you have colon. Her nose, sorry, was congested. She felt chills, right? We're going to work on some corrections there. And aching muscles. That's more of something else that deserves the attention, and it deserves, grammatically speaking, to be
Aprobar.
another idea, all right?
Mm.
Because it is even longer than your main statement. And it's not like your conclusion, you're giving more information about the same element. So remember, you have to think of this than it's also. If you have another idea that is related to that one, the semicolon is a better option. Because you're saying, okay, this is an idea, I'm talking about this. Now I'm going to still talk about that, but this is another idea that is going to be to complement this, but it's a complete idea. So semicolon, right? Semicolon. The colon, again, is mainly for just short and last conclusions clarification. So again, my piece of advice here, it will be to use a semicolon instead, because more than a short conclusion, a short illustration of this, it is clarifying this, but it is not only part of the idea of being sick. You're giving a more detailed description of that. All right. So again, I will do this. And also why? Because you're saying, right, her nose was congested. This is a complete idea. This is a clause, right? Her
Mhm.
nose, subject, verb, and complement, a comma, then you have she again. You're using that again. I mean, a subject. So we don't use commas to divide subjects, right? Perhaps you can use then here a fanboy in case you want to use that idea. But that's the only alternative I'm finding right now. Okay, we're going to see other elements. And she felt chills, right? With the L, double L.
Oh.
Sorry. And aching muscles. So here we are connecting two ideas, and we are eliminating the comma. Why? Because we're saying that this is one complete idea. This is the comma to start another complete idea. And in this second complete idea, this is the subject, this is the first item, and this is the second item. So as we only have two items in the second part, we are not going to use the comma anymore. Okay, but again, as you can see, now you have a compound sentence. That's why this is not going to be just a conclusion, right? Like Disneyland or doing this and that. It is more complex. So that's also why I believe that a colon is not going to be good for this specific purpose. It is better to use a semicolon because it's an idea related to the first idea, but it's not just the conclusion. It is a little bit more than that. All right, that one. I don't know if you have questions about that general correction or recommendation in this case, uh, Danitza, because we can change this in a certain way also to make it shorter, brief, to use a colon. But my recommendation is to use a semicolon instead and keep the complexity of this idea. So that's it. What do you say? Any comments, questions, or ideas about this, let me know, please.
Mm, Following the idea of the paragraph, what could you suggest as a general example to use column? Because I can imagine.
Okay, see, one more time, I couldn't understand very well the thing that you told me. You
If
want me
you
to show
can,
you, right, the usage of the column?
yes, following the idea of the paragraph, if you can give me an example.
Okay, so in this paragraph, I don't know, I have to find something that I believe is not that clear. All right, she decided to participate with an ONG. It rained those days. Determined to come out to take care of the rain monitors. Okay, all right. So I'm going to try to add then something else because I don't know if I can add a conclusion over there because I'm not right now in this context, within this context. As I'm trying to see what I can add over there, I'm going to try to add another idea. Let me see what it can be so that we can use column with this new idea. So Isabel Wright is one of the most committed people I know. Last winter, she decided to participate as a volunteer with an ONG, and it rained those days, and she was still determined to camp out there to take care of this and that. As a result, she got sick, right? Semicolon, her nose was congested and she felt chills and aching muscles, right? So I'm going to say something like this, all right? All right, so this idea, right? In order perhaps to get better, and actually I can add that idea. All right, in order to get better, she did something that no one was expecting. Okay, there I have a very clear thing that is not clear for anybody, right? Because even if I say, right, she got sick, we understand that, of course, there are many types of sickness, right, in sicknesses. But you can clarify that. But you can clarify what's that sickness, right? She got a flu, for example, right? That can be your conclusion over there. That's what I have in mind, right? So she got very, very sick or very sick, colon, right? She got the flu. So they are also very similar, but after that point, it can be a conclusion. But even like that, you have the alternative of using a semicolon. But again, I'm not using that example because as it is short, the conclusion should be shorter. But in that specific case, I don't have in mind what phrase you can use. But here I have one. I have one statement that has an introductory phrase and the statement itself. But the introductory phrase can be there or it can be afterwards, right? But the idea is that this is something that is not short, but it contains something that is unclear. And of course, this is something that is unclear, right? It's something. What? So if you, as a writer, you want to clarify something that is clearly, right, not clear for the reader, here you can add the colon. And again, it is very advisable that your conclusion is a word or a phrase, but it can also be a clause. Right? So what could it be something not orthodox to get better when you are like this? All right. So let me think. For example, what is something that you wouldn't do, Danitza? What do you usually do when you get sick? I want to know that so I can think of other possibilities to give you the example. What do you say? Do you take medicine? Do you go to the doctor? Do you have your own remedies? What do you do?
Mm, I usually mm, um, I don't know, use, um, I, I can, is, a medicine that is based on herbal essences. Yes. Yes, I use, uh, Harapalatos, I know there is something sort of called syrup. Yes, I use that.
All right, good, good. Again, I'm asking because I want to think of something unorthodox, something that people don't do usually when they get sick. Okay, I don't know. I don't even know how to write chaman. All right, chaman. But that's going to be my example. All right, she did something that no one was expecting. And what was that thing? Basically, all right, chaman. I don't know. Okay, how do you write that? But the idea that and what I want to show here is that usually the conclusion is going to be as clear as this. Usually what is it is not clear, it is an activity, a name, or it can be an action. In that case, if it is an action, you have to write a clause. But in an example like this, I'm just clarifying that the activity of visiting a shaman was something that no one was expecting from her because she usually right looks for I don't know right science. She goes to the doctor, she has her own things. But now because it was very I don't know heavy strong, she was not able to get rid of that sickness, and she decided to do this. Okay, but again, I'm going around, I'm playing with the ideas because of course it doesn't make sense. But this is an example of using the colon in Danitza. It has to be something that again it is clearly not all right something that people understand when they read, and the clarification has to go straight to the point. Because if you give another idea that is going to be as important, or even in terms of visually speaking and in terms of meaning is more important, then the colon is not going to be the best idea. All right, colon only for, as we didn't see the lesson yet, but for list of items, but when they are introduced, right? Only when they are introduced, not after verbs. The colon is placed after an expression such as the three following cities or the following pieces of advice, right? You're introducing an introduced list of items, not after verbs, colon, and a list of items. Of course, you use it with direct speech, right? With quotations, right? With citations or citations. You use colon as well over there. For this purpose, conclusions, it can be clauses, phrases, words, but they go straight to the point. They are not compared to the first idea because it is way more important. And again, visually speaking, and in terms of the meaning, it is less impactful and less important than the first idea. All right, and it only complements briefly what you wanted to say. Those are the ways that we got to use colon. And remember here, if you want, you can even use this. It is also valid, it is less formal, but we're still following the grammatical rules. Okay, and remember that this has to be at the end, so here we use a different punctuation mark over here. But when you use the dash
Okay.
as an interrupter, you only use that punctuation mark. Okay, that's what I wanted to also clarify over there. I don't know if you have questions about that, and if it helps a little bit understand more about how we use the colon and the logic for when to use it and when it is a better idea to use something else like a semicolon, for example. What do you say?
Um, um, mm, I imagine what you are trying to show me, and I think about it, but um, I can imagine when I am writing. So this is the result. Sorry.
Yes, yeah, I know, right? Right now we can understand, right, and we can get the point of what we are trying to show over here. But I also know that you mean that you're only going to be sure that this is clear as you're going to be working on, right? Practicing, writing, and when you get to the point in which you see, okay, this is not clear, I'm going to try to use a colon. Does it look good? Yes, it seems. It seems to be something extra. It seems not extra. It seems to be just the complement, the clarification illustration of this. It doesn't seem to be as important as this. So it looks good. Okay, so if you follow that logic, it is going to be good. But again, let's wait until you apply this again so that we see that it is correct. Okay, but remember, I encourage you because now we're going to go to the topic that we got and we're going to cover the last questions that we got as well. Anitza? The second one is good. I don't have observations for the other one, right? Because of the bad weather phrase, comma, they decided to suspend activities and reschedule dates to take. So we don't have right order elements over there. It is just good the way it is. But we're missing things. I don't know if you were able to work on the missing active and passive voice ideas, Anita. I think you're
Yes.
busy, right? But were you able to finish?
Yes.
Okay, let's please, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let's share your screen and let's see how it went.
Okay.
Let's do it. All right, it's loading.
I don't know why.
Okay, now I can see your screen, your battery.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Just by taking a look at the verb, I know that this is correct because this is a transitive, right? A very direct transitive verb. So it works perfectly. Just in case, but please let's read the examples. All right, let's read the active voice and the passive voice that you got for that idea, please.
Diego bakes some cookies for his mom. Some cookies are baked by Diego. Diego is baking some cookies for his mom. Some cookies are being baked by Diego. Diego baked some cookies for his mom. Some cookies were baked by Diego.
Very right. Just one detail. It's good. I know it's repetitive, but it's good, this exercise. Some cookies was, right? No, right? Some cookies were. Uh-huh.
So here,
Exactly. Let's continue, please.
Diego was baking some cookies for his mom. Some cookies were being baked. Okay. Diego has baked some cookies for his mom. Some cookies have been baked by Diego.
And they're the same, right? Some cookies, not has, right? Have, because it is plural.
Right. Um, um, have been some cookies have been baked by Diego. Diego had baked some cookies for his mom. Some cookies have been baked by Diego. You have been baking some cookies for this month. Some cookies have been baked by Diego. Diego will bake some cookies for this month. Some cookies will be baked by and Diego is going to bake some cookies for this month. Some cookies are going to be baked by you. Diego will be baking some cookies for this month. Some cookies will be being baked by you. Diego will have baked some cookies for this month. Some cookies will have been baked by you. You will have been baking some cookies for this month, and some cookies will have been baked by you.
Okay, there you go. Yes, I know. Again, very repetitive, but it is important, right? We got to see those little details about was, where, and have, has, but everything in general, it is very good. Remember that I know that some of these tenses are not natural in terms of speaking. Even people don't use it. For example, right, the present perfect progressive in passive voice, because you have that double B, the B in the past participle and the B in the present participle. Phonetically speaking, right, and in terms of, yes, mainly phonetically speaking, all right, phonetically speaking, it is not accessible to the listener. All right, if you say again, right, some cookies had been being baked. And again, grammatically speaking, it is correct, but it is not as naturally used as the simple tenses in passive voice because, again, of the confusion that it can create in terms of phonetics. All right, in terms of the sound and the repetition of very similar words, that's always avoidable. Okay, so even though it is good because this is for practicing, and I mentioned that, we have to know that those ones that have the verb to be in the past participle and in the present participle, one after another, okay, they are going to be avoided for speaking mainly. For grammar and to show that we know the tenses, it is good, but those are going to be avoided in regular situations. That's the only thing. Everything else, and actually, no, everything is good. That's something that I'm commenting on what you did, all right? But it is perfect. Everything seems to be good. I don't know if you have any questions about this. I don't have observations or anything else to add, Denise. Let me know, please.
Mm-hmm. I will have questions about it, but I also use uh, a resource that has, I think, more complex examples about this. So I would really like to show you some examples
Okay.
with this dynamic, but to be for the next class.
All right. Yes. Yes. Of course. Yes. You remind me, or you tell me, right, Luis? I have to show you this. You do it directly. Yes. But yes, I'm open to that. On Monday day, you can show me what you want to show me.
Okay.
All right. Good. There you go. Now, I believe that we can go back and again, but only one thing. I'm going to share my screen right now.
Mm,
Remember one thing also, we are missing something, right? Danitza, I'm not going to ask you this now, but we're missing again the type of exercise that I told you to keep practicing, that is using the semicolon with a coordinating conjunction.
yeah, I was
Right?
trying to do that with the last uh
Okay, okay.
but
So
I
you're
think
going to complete that.
yes.
Mhm. Not now, all right, not now, but complete. But I'm going to give you more, all right? You didn't do this one, so you're going to have two for Monday. All right, complete this one, and you're going to write one more, all right, two. I really want that to be clear, all right? I really, really want that to be clear because, again, if you understand the usage of the semicolon in that one, I believe that that's the most complex thing in terms of punctuation marks. All right, again, so if you understand that, everything else is going to be easier. All right. Now, uh, also for column, please, Nanitza. All right, only one. Let's work with only one, but at least one example using colon, or remember the dash. But remember everything that I mentioned, right? It has to be the conclusion of something, the clarification, the illustration, but it needs to feel that it is only that. It needs to feel that you're saying just a few extra words to explain something that was not clear, to paraphrase, to do something like that, okay? Because if they look and they feel as important, then the semicolon is better than the colon. Because again, that's not for clarification, I know, but it is because the ideas are related and they are two complete ideas. So it is better to use a semicolon if that's the case. Okay, but just that. Good. How with the semicolon and coordinating conjunction, 2, great, and with colon 1. Good. Now, we have to then see this briefly. Then it's that is perfect models. But I don't know if you have any questions about punctuation rules in general. We covered everything except for the colon now in detail. We're still missing that, but I don't know if you have any questions in general about the commas, about the semicolon, about the dash that you want to ask before covering this briefly and finish with this, remember, the course. Because with this one, the last lesson, we're finishing this course. What do you say?
Um, uh, I have not about the commas, columns, and semicolons and dashes. It's about Pearson, but maybe we could see that after this slashes.
Okay, yes, this is slides, right? The
Slides.
slides? Yes. Good. Let's do it then. Let's cover this and we go to what you're telling me. Okay, so perfect models. I know that we covered this before. I know that you know also how to use them, but what do you say? What can you tell me about perfect models, Anita?
Uh, um, uh, um, um, I think right now I have um, mm, and I I don't know maybe how to express. um, I I know how to use them because I made the exercise of prism. I think well, then I, I don't have problems with explaining about how use them. I would prefer you to show me, please, one more time.
Okay, yes, yes. Again, remember, if you only talk about models, only models, what are models used for? Okay, not perfect models, only models, right? Models are will, could, can, should, must, and so on and so forth. So, what are models? What's the purpose of using models, Danitza?
Mm,
It can be one, it can be
um,
multiple purposes.
mhm. Yes, you can use words to emphasize something about the verb. I could put it in that way, because you have lots of possibility and other kind of models to Um, yes, when you are trying to even express some degrees about the verb of certainty, and I think there are a lot of kind of models and possibility tools. So there are many models.
Okay, good, good. I think it is great. Everything that you're mentioning is good. Models are going to to give a degree of anything to the action that we're going to mention, right? It can be degree of certainty, degree of possibility, of probability, of necessity, of ability, right? It can be referred to present, future, sometimes past ideas, right? So it gives multiple, right, possibilities. And of course, it depends on what model you're using. The purpose of using it is going to be different, right? So the only thing about perfect models is that they are not anymore related to present or future, right? As most of them are. They are only going to be used for past situations because they use the perfect structure to be expressed, right? And that's the only thing that makes them different. That's why we also call them past models, right? Perfect models are always referred to as past models. All right, even though some models are already used in past, like could, in this case, we are only going to be referring to past. Okay, now let's apply that logic. So models work on a variety of possibilities, right? Situations, and perfect models are going to make that usage applied into the past. Okay, that's the only thing that we are going to do. We have very specific structures in which we use perfect models. For example, the unreal, right? The past perfect unreal. Yes. The wish examples. Yes. But here we're only going to use perfect models as sentences or statements, independent clauses to express something about the past, right? And we have this sentence to start this idea, Danitza. Let's read this, please, and try to explain what they are saying by showing us this statement. In this case, we have a complex sentence.
You should have started before if you wanted to finish earlier. Uh, is talking about something that the person uh, finished in in a long period of time, and someone is give uh, is gives should have um mm, emphasizing about uh, um, the the using of the time of the person that finish
All right.
earlier.
Also, to help you out with there, right? If I ask you, you can, because you're going deeper perhaps, right? But you can try to stay right with the very superficial elements here. If I ask you here, Danitza, is the action that we're talking about finished or unfinished? What do you say? Is it in present, in past?
The action is finished.
The main action we're referring to. Exactly right. It's finished. Of course, can we change it? Can we not change it? Of course, we cannot change it, right? And what is the person doing? What's the intention of the person when he or she says, you should have started before? Right? If I tell you that, Danitza, you should have started before. What happened? So what's the intention that I got when I say that?
It's like an advice to the past. I don't know.
Yes.
It's not about advice. I don't know if that's true.
You can understand that. Of course, it's not possible, right, to give advice in past, but you can say that even it is a way of criticizing something, right? I'm being critic and I'm criticizing your action, something that you did or you didn't do in the past, and I'm criticizing it. All right. Of course, you can take this as a piece of advice in the past that grammatically speaking we understand, but again, logically speaking, of course, it is a little bit off. But again, take it as a piece of a critic, all right, or criticizing that you are receiving or giving, right? Something that I believe it was a better idea for you to do in the past, but unfortunately, you didn't do it. And perhaps it was the most obvious thing to do. And because you didn't do the most obvious thing to do, again, like telling you this, not always in a positive way, but to show you that you made a mistake, right? That's why I say that it is better to call this like a critic or criticizing, because that's what we are basically doing. All right. So, yes. And again, the main idea here is that it is about something that is in the past and that we cannot change, right? And here we have the two, right? Let's say possibilities, the model that it's a regular model and the past or perfect model. So let's read the two of them, please. And again, with the logic that I was following before, tell me what's the difference between these two elements.
Uh, you could have chosen the other option was that you could choose the other option. It is really better. Okay, now the difference, right?
Correct.
And, in the first option, it just like advisability, and the last is like a suggestion. Just listen, just to choose the other option because it's going to be or will be. Yes.
Yes, basically, again, one is related to a past activity or action that we cannot change, but we are talking about it because I want you to see something about that past action, and perhaps you're going to learn something about what I'm telling you now, right? But in the second one, yes, I'm giving you, it could be a piece of advice. I'm just showing something, highlighting something in order for you to consider it, right? That alternative, and it's up to you, right, if you will or you won't take it into account, right? But there's the chance of changing that, whereas in the first one we don't have that chance, right? We don't have that possibility. So yes, also then we are obviously, right, stating that in the past you had other possibilities. You could have chosen the other option because you know that you had other options, but you decided, right, even though I gave you a piece of advice, even though, right, you knew that the other options were better, you decided to go for this other option. So I'm also showing you that again, and it's just to give emphasis to something that you did and to show you that in the past you had other and better alternatives, right? So it's always again related to the past, but the intention is always to make you see that, hey, what happened, right? In with could, I'm telling you that you had possibilities. With should, I'm telling you that it was a good idea to follow the piece of advice that I had for you at that time in the past, but you didn't, right? Those are the two that we're seeing so far, and we have to make the difference, right? Should and could. All right, and we have one more to analyze. Then briefly, we're going to see the definitions. And this one, let me work on this because I was just changing. They were all with that. And okay, there you go. All right, all a format, and it was not good. Now I think it is full screen, but there you go. This is the last one to analyze, Danitza. So also, please, let's read it and tell me what's the intention of the person saying this and what's the purpose of using must as part of your perfect models. So let's read, please, and let's try to explain.
The airforce must have visited the Earth to build such an impressive structure. They are trying to explain something in the past. That they are not certain about the idea, but it's their best guess.
Okay, good, good. The only thing, yes, I believe, of course, they are not 100% sure, but I would say that they feel kind of confident by saying this, right? They believe that in a 90% or 98 perhaps, or even 99% of the possibilities, right, or probabilities, they believe that this is the one, right? Even though, of course, they cannot assure that it is like that, they feel pretty certain about it. But it is still not a fact, right? It is still, yes, an explanation for what happened. So it is a conclusion. A conclusion when you feel confident or certain that it happened like that, even though you still don't have the evidence, even though it's not a 100%, it is the highest, right, in terms of how confident you feel to use it in these type of situations. Okay, so good. Let's now take a look at the short explanations. We're not going to read everything. Actually, I'm going to read for you some elements, and then you're going to let me know questions that you got. We're going to write some examples, short ones, to finish, and then we go to the Pearson, all right, a thing that you mentioned. So must have is the perfect model that we use to give conclusions. Okay, that's the main thing. Give conclusions. And we are, when we feel certain about something, when we feel again that that's the 90 to 99%, all right, of the possibility for all the alternatives that we got, we believe that this is a very, very good explanation for that, right? You must have been tired. You ran a lot. I'm almost sure about it. Look at that, right? Something must have happened here. Again, it looks that it is very, very likely that something happened. Okay, but again, it is not a fact because we don't know that completely, but we feel certain, we feel positive about it. But when you don't feel certain or positive, and you have this just as one possibility and you're guessing, you say may or might have. You didn't come, you may have had problems, right? I don't know because I don't know you, I don't know what happened, so this is just a guess. And that's why I use may or might. Right? She was sad, she may have broken up with her boyfriend. I don't know. I don't know her, but I know that sometimes people are sad because of love, right? So that's a possibility. But I'm guessing. So I'm guessing, so I use may or might, right? Very simple. To show alternatives for the past, could, right? I'm telling you that, hey, you had other possibilities. What happened? So why didn't you study? You could have gotten a better score. It was an option to study and to get a better score, but you decided not to do it. Why? So it could have to show the alternative that you had in the past. Really, you could have hurt yourself. Be careful. Also for possibility in this case. All right. So we have clear alternatives in the past, or a simple possibility in the past. Okay, but again, for something that is not applicable to the present anymore. Couldn't have, of course, the opposite, impossibility, right? I know you very well. I know that it couldn't have been you, right? It's impossible. I know that you're not capable of that, and the action that happened, it was not yours, right? It couldn't have been you. Should have, again, we mentioned advice. Yes, it was mentioned before, but it was not followed. So I'm going to criticize, or if I say that in first person, it is going to be regret, right? I should have listened to you. You were right. So for criticizing people and to show regret, it is a good idea to use should have or shouldn't have. You shouldn't have said that. Right? I'm criticizing the action that you did before. So I'm just showing that I don't agree with it. Here we have something that actually you can watch later on and the extra practice. But that's the general way of or to use, sorry, perfect models. And these are the ones that we commonly use. We're going to have a short practice now, Danitza, but do you have any questions about the differences between these models? Let me know, please. All right, I believe that we don't. If you have, again, you can ask me at any moment, but let's practice now. Again, it is going to be very simple in Danitza. We have these models, so we're going to use them in examples. All right, we're going to have just one example with must have, one example with may have, and one with might have, just to know that they are going to be the same. Okay, 3 so far. One example with could have, and one with couldn't have. Okay, so affirmative and negative. And one example with should have, and one with shouldn't have, because in this case, this is important. They refer to the same, but it is important to work the two of them. Okay, so remember, one with must have, one with may have, one with might have, one with could have, one with couldn't have, one with should have, and one with shouldn't have. A total of 6 examples. We're going to have 5 minutes more or less to complete that those elements, because they don't have to be complex ideas. And it's just something that shows me that it is clear for you, and we know how to use it in a, well, in a simple sentence. If you want, you can have a compound sentence, but it is just enough with simple so that we can finish everything and go to your Pearson's doubts. So what do you say? Any questions so that we have the 5 minutes to complete this? Let me know, please.
No, I don't have questions.
Okay, let's do it then, please, Danitza. In 5 minutes, we check. Okay, so let's try to write everything that comes to our mind. All right, let's just express those ideas. We check the 7 examples, please, in 5 minutes. Okay, let's be working on those ideas, please. We're going to be checking in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we're going to take a look at what we got to be finishing this. I imagine that I'm here. Yes. So let's read what we got, please, Danita. Let's read those examples that you got to write.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I should have applied for a scholarship last year. I shouldn't have taken my time. Shouldn't have done the job. They might have worked during the accident. That could have been a miracle. We couldn't have worked in that situation.
Right? Okay, it seems to be good. The first, right, the first two, they feel like regret, right? I should have applied. I shouldn't have taken my time. It feels like regret, right? Because it is regret. Number three, right, it should be like conclusion or something that you're saying about her. But when you don't know, right, she may have done a better job. But here, remember, it has to be something that it's a conclusion. It is better than it's a, this grammatically speaking feels good, but it doesn't feel like it is the best usage that you can give to May. All right, because remember, with May, you are guessing for what happened.
Mm,
Okay, so it may have been this, it may have happened this and that. So you're guessing some elements. Okay, so again, grammatically speaking, it is good, but I believe that the example can be a different one. Then they might have worked right during the accident. Yes, again, it's because you're guessing, right? You don't know if they worked during the accident, but possibly, right? Possibly they did. If you are not sure again, you feel that you're guessing, then it is correct. So could have been a miracle. Okay, that could have been, yes, possibly it could have been. we couldn't have worked in that situation. It was impossible. Okay, so only number 3 would be all right because of how it is stated. Because if you say, right, done a better job, it's something that doesn't fit exactly into this category of giving a conclusion about that. Then numbers, and we're only missing one just by speaking, Anita, to finish, and then you show me about Pearson. Give me one example with must have, please. Remember, it is also about conclusions as it can be may and might, but you feel certain, you feel sure, positive that it was like that. Not 100%, but it can get to 99% because you're just waiting for the evidence that you know that there will be. But what do you say? What conclusion about a past activity can you give me with certainty using must have?
Mm, 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 um, oh, can I say something like mm, um, um, the pandemic must have been or must have been planned by an organization.
Okay, yes, yes, it is possible. Of course, right? If you are 99% sure and you're just finding evidence, right? Because you want to uncover what organization planned, right? The pandemic, the COVID, right? And did all that. Yes, it is possible. It's subjective, right? Remember the usage of most of these models and the things that we say, it is subjective. So if subjectively speaking, you feel 99% that it was the case, it is correct. Anything, absolutely anything is possible. So yes, okay, good. That's it. We're done with that then, Danitza. If you don't have questions, or if you have, please let me know. If you don't, please let's show what you told me about Pearson.
Okay, I don't have questions about.
All right, so let's go to Pearson. I don't know if you have screenshots or if you can show me by sharing your screen so that we can take a look at that.
Yes. I can share my screen.
Good,
I'm
let's
sorry.
go there then.
Um, uh, mm, mhm, mm. Do you see my screen? Can you see?
Yes, I can see it. Your web page is loading, right? Yes, I see there. You're selecting the course.
Yeah. Um, Yes. Um, I finished the assignments here, but um, I made a mistake because here, look, yes, um, theoretically, I finished each task, but um, the only activity that is not completed is the writing part in each of these little modes, eight, 1, 2, 3, 4, and but um, here if I don't know what I did, but if I um, look for the writing parts, I cannot open the activities. So I was wondering what is going to happen with my score, with my grades, because I don't have that. I will try to have it here. But here. Oh, yes. Oh, I don't know why. 1, 2, 3. I can. I know. No, see a report. See, I cannot. Yes. Edit the activities. And I usually have 2 attempts, so you know. And
Oh,
uh, I I was also uh, wondering if what if my final scores of the other two, 3 models that we already have, the first book,
the last part I couldn't understand the grades from your
the
previous.
final, yes, the final grade of each model of the last book, the first book.
Okay, you don't have access to that, right? That's what you're telling
Mm,
me.
yes, no, it's, I know that there is, I don't know, something like is um, the value of the model is going to be uh, calculated with a percentage of the final activity and the independent tasks. So I was wondering what is the final percentage.
Okay, yes, so I'm going to show you. Actually, you can ask for that information also to management. If they don't say that information to you, I'm going to do it. And actually, I can show you now, all right? If you give me a second. Actually, I'm going to show it to you. But before going there, because I can show you that easily. In here, in what happens when you see the report? You have the report, but over there, you have the option of editing what you did or of entering the new attempt over there? I don't know what
No,
happens.
and I mean um I just only I see the report. I just only can see the report, and the report is up there because I don't even have the chance to see that. No.
Okay, it's only available, yes, after your teacher has graded the assignments. It's weird that they are not letting you in open that again because yes, you have one attempt left, right? And they are not giving you the chance to open that one because what happened? You were telling me that it's a you sent that information next or you submit it. but without completing, right, the assignment?
Yes, because I was thinking I have a second attempt and first attempt just to get all checked. I put a period, and that was my first attempt. But the second attempt, I didn't do anything. And yesterday I was trying to make something about that, and I couldn't do it.
Yes, no worries. Again, it must be a technical problem. I don't know why you can see the attempt that you have left, but don't worry. Right now, I cannot modify this because I can only extend the due date, but I cannot reassign until the due date is over. All right. So let's wait until this is finished. Try to focus on the things that you're missing, Danitza. And when the due date, all right, is over, I'm going to reassign the three elements for writing so that you don't have inconveniences with that.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. With that, you should have the chance of taking a look at that one more time. All right. But again, all in all, remember that the elements that I check like this, like writing, speaking, they are mainly evaluated in a different way. But I believe that, that's what we're going to do with the writing. Now I'm going to show you the grades that you got and what I do. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. And this is something, give me a second. Where's my, okay, so I'm sharing my screen right now. No, I have to look for the elements here. Not yet.
I finished all the quizzes, all the quizzes, all the writings are not.
Okay, one more time, please. Danitza, you finished all the writing exercises. It happened
No,
with all of them, right?
The writing, no. But the other tasks and assignments, yes. Even the quizzes are already done.
Great. So you're only missing the final, or also the final is done.
Also, the final is done.
Okay, great, great, great. So it means, again, I'm not going to extend anything today, right? That's the last day to complete everything. So tomorrow I can reassign these writing exercises so that you can work on the three of them.
Okay.
All right, good. That's great. Now, here. Okay, now let me share. Okay, so this is the thing that I sent to management. All right. Here you have the courses, right, that we finished so far, A7, A8, A9. This is the username that you were using, at least for those courses. Now you have a new one. Of course, as soon as everything is completed, this is going to be there. But remember that the assignments are going to have a total of 30%. Here you got, for example, 82, that's 24.6, right? It will be a point in English. Then you have the quizzes, right? 3 quizzes that give this total, and this is the percentage, 3. And the 40, that is the final exam, all right? For example, these are the final scores that you got in the previous courses so far, for A7, for A8, and for A9. Taking into account everything, the 30% of the 4 set of assignments that you got in total, the 30% for the 3 quizzes that you got per course, and the 40% for the final test that you get at the end, right? This being 40, this affects the score, of course, but in general, you did it good every time, okay? But this is the final that you get as a result of all those elements. All right, I don't know if you have questions about this. Again, what I do basically in terms of a score, my main thing here is what I do in class. But in terms of the scores, Anita is just having what I got on Pearson, put it over here, and here Excel also, of course, you know that it does everything automatically. All right, so what do you say? Any questions?
No.
All right.
Um.
Yeah, I can, of course, give you access to this. Actually, I can show it to you, but it is better because it has to be approved by management to see that everything is correct, and they can also give you access to these scores.
Okay.
Uh,
I know that through WhatsApp. I think 3 days ago, but it was plus 54 something number, not from Bolivia, from I don't know where. And I don't know because usually I um, um a girl used to write me, but now I don't know. The name is Andres, creo. I don't know. But just to mention that, um, I don't know if you have problems with spams or things like that.
no, that's weird. Are you saying that someone from a different country was writing to you, but what, in the name of or on behalf of Executive English?
Yes, yes.
And saying what, for example, or I mean, about the course
No,
on discounts or
no, 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 no. It's, I
okay,
can
you
show
can show me if you want. Uh-huh.
this. Um, um, here.
Okay, yes, yes. I mean, they are just, I believe, informing because look, at Executive English, they have people working from many other countries. I don't know the person, all right, because I don't actually know who's working on management, marketing, right, sales, administration in general. But I believe that they are doing what they are told from well, from it can be the director, right, from coordination, from management, but they usually, yes, I remember because I've been working here, for several years, and they've always done something like this. They have pictures, all right, they create pictures, of course, with design and with marketing, and they send information that they believe it's important for you to know. So I believe that they're they are send you that information to remind you how this works. And yes, actually, that's important, right? In the previous one, they mentioned that. So yes, they are, as you call it, right? They are spamming, right? But they are sending that information. That about the score in the next one, picture number 3, 3 out of 4. There, they also told me that I had a meeting, all right, with the director, with executive director, like it was like last week, and they were asking because the performance of some students, right, were well, was not as good as they were expecting, and they were asking me, right, what happened, and I let them know that some of them, they don't complete the assignments, it happens like this and that, and I gave them recommendations, all right, to be even more strict with these rules. But they told me that they have this, and they have shown this to the students, or they are going to show this to the students, because if the score is good, all right, we don't need to get any extra hours, they told me. But if the score is not as good as they expect, because if you want to get a high score in the TOEFL, you really need to spend a lot of hours working on Pearson with assignments, with all those details, of course, not missing any class, and your performance has to be outstanding. They believe that having that score between 90 and 100 is going to assure that you won't need any extra practice. But anything below that is going to need some extra practice. But yes, this is real. All right, this is real because they also showed me this chart, like again 1 week ago, and they told me that this has to be important for the students to know. Of course, I don't have access to this chart, so the ones in charge of sending this information are people that work for executive English from different countries. All right, but that's what I can tell you, Danitza. So you can reply, I believe, to this number or to the one that you are in contact with in terms of executive English, and you can ask them about this. But this is applied to the program that you are in right now, Danitza. It is the TOEFL, right? The guaranteed TOEFL. But take a look at that. You have your scores, perhaps that's why you were also asking for that. You are not, I will believe that you are good in those terms. Of course, again, these are direct numbers that I put over there, and that's the direct result from Excel. But take a look at that, and in case you have doubts in terms of these scores and the hours that they are mentioning over there, please contact them directly, okay? Because this is something that directly that they can tell you something about.
Mhm. So as I saw, I I I'm in this range, right? That's for
E-
4 hours.
According to that, yes, you're doing pretty good, actually. I can say that you're doing pretty good. But again, according to this chart that they are showing you, you will need those 4 hours. I don't know if it is going to be after every course that you take that you need that, or in general. That's something, please, also that you have to ask them. Yes, it is per model, right? So it is over there. So contact them then, please. All right, you have then the scores over there to verify that information and let them know how you can do with this, because again, that's something that I also learned last week. But let's find out, please. Then that's also all the information I got.
Okay. I was honest to blog and report of this. So
Yes, no, it's real. I think it's part of their job. Of course, they should identify themselves, right, with the picture and the name, right, that is part of the enterprise or the well the program. But yes, it is them doing that.
okay,
All right.
I'm
Yes. So
sorry.
you yeah, and again, remember, just in case, anytime you receive a type of message like that, just try to reply to a number that you know that you can trust, or directly you can send a message to Facebook, and then they are going to redirect your message or forward your message to a trustworthy number in case you don't trust that specific number, so that in again if you need to pay something, you don't do that with something that you don't trust. All right, and you again do that very certain of what you're doing. All right,
Okay.
good. That's it then. Let me know what it is going to happen, because to me also that's important to know. We are going to start the new course then on Monday, and that's going to be A11. Okay, so we're only 2 courses left to finish everything. So let's take advantage as much as we can. Again, I'm trying to work with these extra lessons for writing. Believe me, that's going to be very useful. Right now, it is tricky. I know we have some difficulties with some punctuation marks, but again, once you understand that basic idea and you get the click with all of them, writing is going to be very, very simple. You're just going to be completing puzzles. You're going to be, again, mixing things, using some words to connect those ideas. It's going to be it's going to be more interesting and less perhaps frustrating as it can be sometimes, or tiring, because when we are not sure of some things, it can be tiring and frustrating. All right, but it's just practicing. Take advantage of this time with me that I can help you with those details. So please, if you get to have any doubts, you have to let me know. Keep practicing. I'm telling you to write 1 sentence, 2 sentences. It's not a lot, because I know that you have a lot of job and other things to do. But if you want to practice, write 2, 3 more sentences when you have the time, and make me check that. Okay, verify that you're understanding everything correctly, But again, that's just to take advantage of the time that we're together. Okay?
May I send you pictures? Because I have time, but I am not comfortable writing these kind of things in my computer at work. I can write
Okay.
in my hand.
Yes. Yes, of course. I'm going to check that, of course, when I have the time if you send the pictures. But yes, you can also do that as well.
Yes, okay. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's
All right. Good. There you go. No, please, I was forgetting. We have to complete two surveys to post for today, please, Danitza. First, you have the daily one that you can see over there.
you're not supposed to see it. Sorry.
Danitza. And then you have the last one, right? Because today was the last class for this course. And there you go. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for being here. I know we used extra time, but again, we start late, but we compensate the time and we use even more time. Today was the last, again, day for the course. And again, it's important that everything is clear. We're taking advantage because I don't have another course after yours, right? But it's always good working with you. I know that you're really interested in learning. That's why I can spend also more time with you. Okay, so I hope you enjoy your weekend. Luckily and fortunately, you finished everything. I think you can take advantage of your weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.
Thank you, Luis. See you
All right,
Monday.
you're welcome. Bye bye. Good night.